Everyone has lots of great ideas. For example, at some point in your life, have you ever thought, wouldn't it be great if there was an app that did blank? Chances are you either didn't know how to program it or that was the last time that you thought of the idea. In the current job market, it's becoming more and more important to understand how to code. One reason that Entrepreneurship magazine says that you should learn how to code is that it makes you better at communicating with people on your team. And if you want to have some type of a project that includes technology, you can hire better employees based on knowing more code. So now that coding sounds important, you should, fortunately with the, how should you go about learning how to program? Fortunately, with the technology of the 21st century, it's very easy to learn how to program. One website that I would recommend is called Code Academy. It has an excellent interface that makes learning fun and interesting. Sometimes when I mention coding, I begin to lose people. So to explain it in simpler terms, coding is essentially solving problems using a computer to help you do simple calculations and to record data for you. If you like solving Sudoku puzzles, logic problems, or brain teasers, I would guess that you would enjoy programming. It's challenging, but it can be really fun. It's just like solving a puzzle. I don't expect everyone in this room to go out and spend hours programming, but everyone can benefit by solving problems by breaking them down into smaller parts. Last year, I decided that I was going to learn how to program. I had learned some programming from being on the robotics team, but decided to learn more after being on Mr. Stowell's Entrepreneurship extern. I sought and found an internship with a web design company, where I learned how to program in HTML, CSS, and PHP, which are 3 languages that are used to help program websites. After the internship, I went to Carnegie Mellon, where I took a programming class in Python with Professor Kesden. Every day, Professor Kesden came in cheering and screaming with excitement about programming. He was very vocal about it and his class, and if anyone started to doze off during the 9 a.m. lecture, he would take his pens from the whiteboard and throw them at the student that started falling asleep until they woke up. We also had a rule of no electronic communication during class, which seemed kind of weird in a computer science course, but he wanted everyone to pay attention to the class. So if he caught a student sitting there looking at their computer and not really looking up, he would walk back a few rows of desks, stand up right behind the student, scream, grab their computer, and run to the front of the classroom with their computer. He did this not because he wanted to embarrass the student, but he felt really passionate about the topic and wanted to ensure that everyone paid attention to it. I'm not suggesting that we do this similar technique at St. Catherine's or St. Chris, but it just goes to show that he was so passionate about his topic that he would physically grab the computer and embarrass the student. The second assignment in the class was a DNA assignment. We had to test strands of DNA against a target string, figure out if they were complementary, and figure out where to put it where it would match in the target string. A lot of students started off the assignment by immediately knowing what to do, programming it, but I was having a bit of a difficult time remembering DNA from Ms. Habenik's bio class freshman year. So it took me a little while to break down the problem into the parts of testing if the string was complementary, figuring out where this string should go. And eventually, after breaking it down into small parts, it became a very simple problem. Later in this course, we were asked to build Tetris, a simple game that I'm sure everyone has played. So this is my code from Tetris. Every student was asked to put all the pieces in there, and it's about 400 lines of code, or 300 maybe, and it's gonna run. Everyone had to add their own thing to the game, so I have a menu with a few simple commands on it. not the best Tetris player as far as the choices go. It was pretty difficult programming it, how to figure out when to make clear the line out when you had it. I'm not really good at playing Tetris, but when you have a line that's full, it has to clear it out, and so that programming that part was really difficult. And if you had a line that was full up near the top, that's also supposed to clear out, and a lot of people had some issues with solving that in the right way. But it just seems like a really basic game, but it involves a lot more to programming it than one might expect. So after programming this Tetris game, we had a final project, and the only experience we really had with any animation was this Tetris game. So for my final game, I wrote a game called Help Bunny Find His Girlfriend. It's written pretty similarly to the Tetris game as far as the animation goes, but I'll wait for the game to load. Yeah. It incorporated a lot of different types of things because you had to use Photoshop to design all of the background and all of the wall pieces and the coins. So what pretty much happens is the bunny starts randomly. There's a random level generator, so it'll randomly make a board with lines between it, and it'll put the enemy guy somewhere and the weird face thing somewhere else, or the girlfriend somewhere else that bunny has to find, and that's how it increases to the next level. And the bunny also has lives, so when you hit the enemy, which is like the Tiny Wings player, it then goes back to the start line, and you can see at the top the lives decrease when it hits one of the... There are a few glitches in the game that are pretty apparent, but the general goal of winning a level when you get to the face thing, pretty easy to see. So that was my final project for the game this summer. After finishing the game, I was still not very pleased with how it performed, and I was talking with Dan Moss, who's the son of this sleep doctor we know, and at his dad's birthday, I was talking to him because I really wanted help on my game because I was convinced it was just terrible, really wanted to fix it. Obviously, there are a lot of apparent glitches. So I was talking to him, talking about how I could fix it, and he was actually kind of impressed with how it worked, even though it's really glitchy. So Dan has done a lot of animation work for NASA and including like Mars films. He's currently runs a gaming company in Palo Alto. He's CTO and programmer for them. And I was talking with Dan about this game, and he compared it to his game for his company and ended up offering me a job for his company. So I've been working with level simulation, and the random level generator in this kind of helped me program the random level generator for their game, and also the game simulation, which models and creates a bunch of graphs of stuff that happens in their game. Although I only met Dan in August, I've been doing a lot of stuff for them since then. I'm not allowed to talk too much about it though, since I've signed a bunch of their contracts. During exterm, I continued my job, but during the snow days, I got really bored of sitting in my house doing nothing. So I decided to explore another interest of mine. I've always wanted to create an app, but I haven't had the time or patience to actually follow through with it. Spent lots of time Googling, which I'm sure anyone who's ever built an app has done. No one knows everything from the first time that you try to build something. It's not easy. My little brother has a developer account, and so I'd asked him if I could use it to help me sell the app, if you will, and to test it on my phone. So I started programming a Flappy Bird remake app called Flapjack. because my little brother's name is Jack, and we really like pancakes and bacon. So it has, this is, oh, that's from when I met Dan. But this is a demo of our app. Thanks. After publishing the first version, Jack and I have been hard at work incorporating ads into the game, into the free game, so we could make a little bit of money. And we've made a bit over $6 in about a month. So that whole rumor about everyone that makes an app making tons of money, it's not entirely true. But I do love the way that coding allows you to create something like our app in a few short days. I know it's not perfect by any means, but it's only my brother Jack and I working on it, and Jack's 12. Creating an app isn't very difficult if you have the patience to want to learn and the ability to search the internet. Chances are someone else has encountered the same problem as you if you just search for a little while on the internet. I challenge you to take 30 minutes sometime, doesn't have to be soon, maybe in the next month, to look up and figure out something about programming. Code Academy that I showed earlier is a great resource, but if you want to go for something a little bit more adventurous, then you can just come talk to me and I'll help you out. If you knew how to program it, what would your app idea be? Thank you.